Yo, what's groovin', folks? It's episode 37 of Bonfire Man. Here's how Bonfire Man works. I'm locked to specific chunks in the game. I have to interact with everything in my unlocked chunks exactly once. So that means every tree needs to be chopped, every enemy needs to die, every resource needs to be consumed. When I interact with something, it is exhausted. When something is exhausted, that means I'm not allowed to interact with it again. I'm allowed to randomly unlock a new chunk whenever all of the entities in my current chunks have been so exhausted. When I enter a new chunk, I rest at a bonfire, as in the Souls games. Resting at a bonfire refreshes or unexhausts all of the content in previous chunks that I've already been to. Now I have to exhaust all entities in both the old and new chunks to continue to progress. My objective is to unlock every chunk in RuneScape. According to my estimates, I think that's going to take about 10,000 hours to complete. If you're interested in all the specifics, minutiae, minor rules, exceptions, that kind of a thing, there's a Google Doc in the description that lists all of that. Let's go ahead and get to the playthrough. We got a pretty exciting chunk this episode. Finally got Port Sarim. If you'll recall, about 500 hours ago, I rolled this chunk without realizing that I couldn't get into more than a sliver of it. Ended up closing it off and unrolling it. So I celebrated what was in there then. There's a lot of really good stuff. Notably today, we're finally going to be able to get to 32 quest points, which means we can start Dragon Slayer 1, which unlocks a good amount of equipment upgrades. As far as Port Sarim proper, I've been excited about Port Sarim because there's shops there that are good. There's more chunks that we can get to now from Port Sarim that change a lot. Intrana would be huge for this account. Being able to get to Karend would be huge for this account. So I guess today isn't insanely exciting on its own because this is basically all there is to do there. Nothing particularly new. I'm not going to be able to complete Port Sarim because of the Pirate's Treasure quest that's going to require us to roll Musa Point Karamja Volcano chunk, which we already had as a rollable chunk. So if we get that, that would be really nice. We could complete Pirate's Treasure, complete Port Sarim, and then we'll finally have a chunk with a rune shop in it that regenerates every cycle. Also, the spirit tree here, we just need to weed that because that exhausts it. We don't actually need to be able to plant a spirit tree there. This is not an extreme one chunk account. We don't need to do everything in every possible node. We just have to be able to exhaust every node. But anyway, let's stop dorking around. Let's head over to Port Sarim. All right, here we are at the chunk border. Let's go ahead and cross the fog wall. Excellent. And let's light the bonfire. Of course, let's rest at the bonfire to respawn everything. Cool. Okay. Port Sarim. I'm going to be back after we talk about chunk objectives to tell you what I'm planning for right now. Alrighty, everybody. It's time to talk about the chunk map and the objectives overview for today's episode. As usual, there's a time code in the description if you want to skip back to the playthrough. This map's starting to look pretty good. There's a lot of chunks unlocked, a lot of options for us here. Let's go ahead and start with 100% completed chunks. These are chunks in which we've exhausted everything at least one time, which confers some benefits. A big benefit is that everything in a 100% completed chunk is optional. I don't have to do it every cycle anymore if I don't want to. Generally means I'm going to skip things like regular trees or killing enemies who have no drops, that kind of a thing. I also get some special specific skilling benefits in these 100% completed chunks. Trees can be chopped into stumps, fishing nodes can be fished until the spot moves. I can interact with thieving nodes 28 times each. Shooting stars in my 100% complete chunks can be mined until they deplete. I can run one rooftop course at the moment until a Mark of Grace spawns. And I can buy out the shop stock in any of my 100% completed chunks once per cycle. So no changes to the perks today. We did 100% complete 2 new chunks. One of them is the Karamja Volcano, and the other one is West Ferox. No significant benefits for doing that. I can skip the regular trees in Karamja Volcano, but that's about it. Still, it's kind of cool to see that greater than half of our unlocked chunks have been exhausted. Next up are quest blocked chunks. We can't complete these chunks because there's a quest that we can't do yet. This has gone up by 1. The new chunk we just rolled in Port Sarim we can't finish because of the Pirate's Treasure quest. That quest is going to require us to roll Musa Point, which is just east of Karamja Volcano, so 1 chunk roll away from being able to finish Port Sarim. That would be really nice. After that, we have skill blocked chunks. We can't complete these because our skill levels aren't high enough. Construction, we need 82 to build master stashes in several of these chunks. Probably not going to happen. The Elder Chaos Druids chunk at the top there requires 55 construction for a hard stash, but it's not going to be a big deal because we're never going to skip anything in that chunk anyway. And then the 2 mining chunks require 70 mining for adamantite ore, and once we hit 70 mining, that's going to be a massive breakpoint for this account because it'll let us complete both of those chunks, which gets us access to 2 more shooting stars per cycle, which is a huge influx of both mining and potentially eventually crafting XP from turning in all that stardust. After that, we have item blocked chunks. We can't do these 2 chunks down in the soul aisle because we need a bird snare and a big fishing net. I don't see myself getting either of those for a while. At the end, we have chunk blocked chunks. We can't complete these chunks because we have to access things on the edges that require access to other unlockable chunks. No change here. Still need to roll some more chunks to be able to complete these. And that's it for the overview. Let's go ahead and get back to the playthrough. All right, so we are going to go ahead and finish up Port Sarim before we start working through the past chunks. Things I want to do today, though, I would love to finish X Marks the Spot, as well as Rag and Bone Man, which we did most of last cycle. Once those 2 are done, we have 32 quest points, and I can enter the Champions Guild, which gets us access to some new equipment, and I'm really looking forward to. I'm also really pumped to try out this Colossal Blade. Now, I think we are going to get a rune sword from the Champions Guild, which kind of undercuts this upgrade a little bit. We'll have to compare it to see if this is still a DPS increase. I think it is, if only because of its accuracy, but it might not be as obvious of a DPS increase as it is over the Adamant Scimitar. But yeah, let's work on Port Sarim. Let's see, I guess I'll start with the trees. This little sliver over here was previously all I could do in Port Sarim, this 1 oak and these 3 regular trees. So it's a bummer that we have yet another rune store that will not be refreshing since I can't complete this chunk. I can't complete Pirate's Treasure, but I am going to buy out her entire stock because that would make me feel a lot more comfortable with leveling up magic. It'll get us pretty far. Yeah, I think this is more comparable to Aubrey's shop than that Wilderness shop. So we'll be able to get all 40 of these Mind Rune packs, all 5,000 of these Mind Runes. This is the last tree to chop here. I guess I'm going to go grab things to build the easy stash. We got to kill 10 seagulls, 2 thieves, a man, a woman, pickpocket them and all that. Here are the thieves. Pretty scary guy. It's like one of the ring wraiths walks into your room with this giant fucking sword and just like domes you. God. While I'm banking, I'm going to quickly go ahead and run the agility course in Draenor. We can get 36 agility. That's going to make the rest of this cycle easier. So I don't know how long it's going to take before a Mark of Grace spawns. It's pretty variable. It's like a 1 in 20, so we could get 20 or so laps, or we could get way fewer than that. Colossal Blade, when it was originally released, was only like 3 kilograms, and people complained, probably reasonably. I guess I can't get mad at them for complaining. But now it's 30 kilograms, and that makes a pretty big difference in terms of effect and run energy. All right, I'm over here. Let's see how far this gets us. Hoping for a really delayed Mark of Grace spawn. Just want to get to 36 here. Oh man, I got really unlucky this time. This is my 3rd lap. That sucks. All right, one of these days I'm gonna get like, I've never been on this side of the thing where I want the 1 in 20 not to roll. One of these days though, we're gonna get like 40 laps or something. It's gonna be great. Feed this Port Sarim patch. All right, this patch is exhausted. Holding the stash over here. It's a one-time task, but we got to do it eventually. This one I can actually fill. It requires coif, steel plate skirt, and a sapphire necklace, so I'm just going to have to make a sapphire necklace next time I'm at a furnace. All right, now it's time for Seagull Murder, and I'm just going to pick up the items that are here, and we'll go work on quest points. I suppose this should have been a fairly epic music unlock, because we would have gotten Sea Shanty 2. But I already had it unlocked, accidentally walking into the zone while trying to kill an imp forever ago. Having this white apron over here, and I think I have to start Pirate's Treasure, be able to get the item pickups over there, the banana. I suppose I will do that. Look way less spooky with this apron on. Pirate's Treasure is one of those quests that, like, I always forget that it exists because it's so fast. And it's not iconic like Sheep Shearer. Yeah, so just to clearly state all the places we can go to now, we can go to Corrend, specifically we can go to Land's End or to Port Piscarilius. We can go to Entrana. We can go to Musa Point, although Musa Point was already rollable from last cycle. This guy right here. I guess actually, maybe not, right? Because the charter ship lands you on here. Is this already rollable? Let me double check. Oh no, I'm getting deja vu. Okay. I actually remember trying to solve this back when I thought I rolled this chunk for real and realized I couldn't. So the problem with making Musa Point rollable, or rather the boat to Musa Point rollable, I'm gonna walk over here to try to demonstrate. Like, this is the whole chunk. This definitely is gonna fall under the less than 5% of the chunk rule. It would say that this is a sliver and I can't take it. Which I guess is fine because I can still roll the valuable chunk. But I could say this is a rollable chunk and say that I can get into here by walking diagonally into the chunk. I don't know if I want to open that can of worms, though. Like, should all diagonal chunks be rollable, because I can technically get into most of them diagonally. I don't think I want to open the can of worms on diagonal chunks. I think what I'm going to do is, this is just not going to be a rollable chunk, because while I could take the boat there, I can't go anywhere. It represents less than 5% of the chunk. And then whenever we roll this one, or either of these two, then it will become rollable. I think that's a fine compromise. And we also just barely cannot reach the charter ship NPCs. It would be really nice if we could. They're over there. They have a lot of great material. I guess this is another way for us to get to pest control, but we already have the minigame teleport for that, so not a huge change. Okay, so it looks like I can't actually go back there until I get further into the Pirate's Treasure quest, so that's okay. It's a banana spawn. I can't complete the chunk anyway, and I'll need to do Pirate's Treasure to complete it, so nothing really has changed. That's all we can do for Port Sarim for now. Mark that complete. I'm going to go ahead and finish Rag and Bone Man 2, and X marks the spot now, and that will get us into the Champions Guild. You get a 300 XP lamp from this quest, which would have been amazing back when I thought I unlocked it. I would have thrown it on agility, and it would have been a huge, jump forward for agility XP. It's kind of terrible for all my skills right now, though. I can put it on Slayer, which maybe is what I'll do. I think I'm going to stop lamping agility for now and start lamping Hunter. I know that's pretty common, but we can actually get into Puro. There are baby implings in there that we could technically use to slightly train the skill. And there's a lot of good stuff later in Hunter that's probably going to be worth it. So I think I'm going to throw it on Slayer, and I'm going to put any other, Genie or Dunce lamps onto Slayer. And then once Slayer hits 35, I'm going to switch to Hunter for now. Okay, starting X marks the spot. All right, turning it into Veos here. Excellent. Pop that into Slayer. Get it, X marks the spot. I think I can now use him to go to Korend, but I'm going to wait for later. Till we roll the junk, obviously. All right, let's go turn in Rag and Bone Man. All right, finish polishing everything. Let's turn these in. Bleaching them, I guess. Glad I could help. 500 cooking, 500 prayer XP. I think I'm going to start Rag and Bone Man 2, I guess. I'm going to take up a lot of bank space, but I guess it's not the end of the world. I guess am I automatically started on Rag and Bone Man 2? Is that how that works? Guess so. All right, well, I got to kill these regular bats anyway, so pretty wild that it took me almost 700 hours to just be able to start Dragon Slayer 1. Finally have 32 quest points. So I actually haven't looked into this, but I think I can go in there and just buy things from the shops. I can't equip the green D'hide body, but I can equip everything else. Welcome to the Guild of Champions. Medium task. Sick. Actually, I don't know if I want to start Dragon Slayer until I'm actually able to finish it. I should look into the quest helper to see where all I'm allowed to go early on. If it lets me get into Crandor, that maybe is something I want to do, but I think that starting Dragon Slayer is what allows dragons to show up on the Slayer task list, which I think I actively don't want right now. Let me review. I think because we can't get into Oziak's house, we shouldn't yet, but maybe I'll reconsider it later. I also don't think, it'll let me get an anti-dragon shield, but I think that's what causes the Slayer task to become available, so I'm going to try to delay this as long as possible. Once I'm able to do it, obviously I'm going to want to do it so I can complete this chunk. I now kill 5 more chickens per cycle, or now have to kill 5 more chickens per cycle, and I guess I have to kill the evil chicken? I don't think it drops anything, but I'll do that later. Yeah, okay, so Scavo sells... I can wear the green D'hide chaps. I will buy one of those, because that's a big upgrade. As well as the Van Braces, that's also a big upgrade. The chain body, I still have a couple sources where I could just get that as a drop. How much is it? Like 50k. Ugh. The rune sword I'm going to want as a replacement for the Addy Scimitar for enemies that I'm not attacking with the Colossal Blade. This is an upgrade, so I will go ahead and pick that up. Compared to the Addy Scimitar, it's a pretty big upgrade. I guess it slightly prefers stab over slash. I'll have to keep that in mind. What are the stab options here? Attack. Okay, strength is also stab. That's good. I'm curious what the max hit is there, because that's going to determine 15. Wow, that's a lot higher. 13 to 15? See, I think that means that technically this is comparable DPS to the Colossal Blade if you ignore the accuracy bonus, but the accuracy bonus is still pretty significant, so we'll see, I guess. But it's still an upgrade. It's going to be great for killing little things like goblins and cows and chickens. So I can also get an Addy plate here, which is a bit cheaper. Because I might want to buy this anyway because it's used in a clue step, an easy clue step. I know the black plate comes up in certain quests. I'm just going to remember that I have access to it. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy the rune chain. If I get the drop, I guess I'll alch it. Looking sick. I want to go compare this to the Colossal Blade now. Oh, I didn't think about this, but I completely forgot the whole champion scroll thing. I've killed, unfortunately, a lot of goblins and a lot of imps already. Yeah, 4,367 goblins, which is pretty close to the drop rate on the champion scroll. I don't think the imps I've killed anywhere near as many, but now that champion scroll is allowed to start having the chance to drop. So maybe we'll see one. It gets you some Slayer XP, I think, which is good. Yeah, okay, so 38 is the best accuracy bonus on the rune sword. 98 is the best one on the Colossal Blade, so it's plus 60. It's even better just on the crush bonus. Max hit is 23 versus 15, so 15 times 3 is 45. 23 times 2 is 46. This is actually still slightly better DPS. Not as better as it was over the Addy Scimitar. Yeah, because this attacks once every 4 ticks, so in 3 ticks it'll hit up to 15 times 3 is 45. This will attack twice. 23 times 2 is 46, so yeah. That's good. I'm still going to want to use this for like goblins and stuff, but I think that the Colossal Blade is still going to be great for just about everything else that's huge or has a lot of health. Especially going to be good for the enemies that have high defense, which there are many. This is a ridiculously huge accuracy bonus, especially since I don't have access to defenders and probably won't have access to defenders for a really long time. There's 77 woodcutting. Just about done with oak. I have a couple more to deplete here. 56 fishing. Looking like I'm going to be okay to get the maximum reward permits here at Temporos. Okay, I crushed it. I don't think I'm going to get 10 reward permits again. I think that was just a fluke. I should get like 8 or 9. Oh, it gave me 10 permits again. Huh. I always thought it was your points, like 8,000 meant 8 permits, and then 225 points meant you had like a 22% chance of getting 9th point. So it's weird that it's getting me up to 10, but yeah, I'm not going to complain. All right, this is exciting every time. Give me something good, game. Casket would be fine, although less impactful now that I have that shop in the Champions Guild. I don't think I'm getting anything. Doesn't look like it. Seaweed's pretty good. Not super exciting. Ah, well. They're doing really well on banked lobsters from multiple sources now. I'm gonna wait to cook them until I can burn as few of them as humanly possible, but 57 fishing. All right, got my first quiz random in an insanely long time. I have gotten a really rare thing from this before. I got a left half of a dragon shield before, which wasn't a big deal, but a D-spear would still be a big deal. That is an old boot. Thieving 56. Still got a long ways to go to 60. All right, I'm mostly done with skilling stuff. It's time to start working on PVM. I'm excited to give this this thing a try. I'm gonna start with Onkos, I think. Yeah, I gotta say this rules. I am just like melting through these guys. It's so good. They are evaporating before my eyes. Even with it being so much slower than the Adamant Scimitar, I'm really glad I picked this up first. I think it's gonna speed things way up. Got a dunce random while working on Catablepins. It was kind of a nightmare though because I had to like find somewhere to run to be able to accept the event. I wish there was like a right-click accept event option. I'll put this one on Slayer once I get out of the room I'm in. All right, let's put this on Slayer. I don't think this is going to get me a level up. 510. Yeah, so one more dunce random, probably 2 more genies. After that, I'll start lamping Hunter, I think. All right, I pounded through the Stronghold of Security with this thing. This really is changing everything. I'm curious to see how long it's going to take me to finish the entire cycle, because I feel like that was way faster. Like usually I run out of NPC aggression against both Ankos and Catablepins, and it didn't even happen this time. God, I hate getting these javelin drops. They feel so bad. So the way the Colossal Blade effectively works, I should just mark all these if they're done now, is it increases your max hit by double the size of the creature, which means that even for a size 1 creature, it's still +2 max hit for free. Well, my stated max hit is a 23, but it's actually a 25, and thank the new max hit marker thing for that. That means I don't even know if a Rune Scimitar is going to be better DPS than this. I've tried looking at DPS calculators, but most of them don't seem to have the Colossal Blade added yet, and I'm sure that the enemy's size complicates things a lot. But I can just do the math based on the displayed max hit and the attack speed, right? Maybe an Obby Sword could be better, but possibly only against, you know, really small enemies. I don't know. +2 max hit for free is kind of a huge deal. Shouldn't be a surprise if this Colossal Blade is really good against the Avatar, because I think the Avatar is huge, so it's automatically like a +10 max hit bonus. I feel like I'm actually able to contribute now instead of just trying to like scrounge for points constantly. Probably my best performance. 48 Zeal. Yeah, okay. We do comparably well next time. Yeah, my max hit is a 38 on the Avatar. I'm actually able to get some kills here. It's kind of great. It still went way worse. I only got 27 Zeal, but that still gets me over 90. I will be able to get 3 Spoils of War. All right, this is always a highlight of every cycle. First Spoils of War. Double Sharks. Second one, 247 coal. Hey. And then Rune Arrows. Yeah, okay. Coal drop is really huge. It's a pretty big one, too, in the range that it rolled in. So more points at the Giant's Foundry later. Heading to kill the Mammoths and Elder Chaos Druids, and it is so nice having this pool of refreshment, finally. Got a Mysterious Old Man random while I wasn't available to talk. It dropped Nature Runes, Mithril Ore, and Feathers, so not a really great drop. Just got my first ever Giant Key on the account. That's kind of exciting. I think I'm ridiculously over drop rate for this thing. Let me see how many full giants I've killed total. 417, this is my first key. Yeah. All right, well, we can do an Obor kill this cycle. I'm going to have to look into it. I think it's a bit harder than I expect, so do some research. Mining down a tier 7 star here. Thanks again to S-Jill for helping me. Got a T7 star here at the Soul Isle, and started up here soon. Mining it down to T6. Hey, it's my buddy the Dunce. Beautiful. Because that will let me get the Slayer level that I need. All right, beautifully, here we go. Slayer 35, I think. Hell yeah, Slayer 35. You can now kill wall beasts, which means we can complete that chunk, which means we can now fish more there. I'm pumped about that. We are super duper close to 69 mining, which is going to let me, I'm going to use one of those rock slug drops, the Dwarven Stouts, to boost to 70 to finish a few chunks here so that we can get some more shooting stars next cycle. 69 mining. Nice. I can boost to 70 and I can mine the adamantite rocks in Lumbered Swamp West and in the Al-Kharid mine. I'm going to do that so that next cycle I can do the shooting stars that land there. I'm going to head to this new star down in Lumbered Swamp East. This one should be despawning any second now, but apparently this one's on a public scope, so somebody's been going through and scoping every single world, so I might not get to keep it. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Thing's about to despawn, so we came in at close to 90k mining XP this cycle. I'm going to hit it 70 next cycle almost for sure, depending on which shooting stars I get. I'm going to use my Dwarven Stouts, of which I have 7, to mine all the adamantite rocks in West Lumbered Swamp and in the Al-Kharid mine, because that's going to be a huge deal. First, I get to skip killing all the goddamn frogs and big frogs over in Lumbered Swamp West. That takes so long. And I'll be able to mine the shooting star both there and in Al-Kharid mine next episode. I'm really pumped about that. Alright, I'm back out here with these Dwarven Stouts. I haven't finished everything else in this chunk, but I'm going to go ahead and mine the Adamantite here, then in the Alcreed mine, and then I'll try to do everything else to finish those chunks here in a second. I haven't forgotten about Obor, it's just my schedule. It made sense to do Shooting Stars for a bit. The concern is that it takes me longer to mine an Adamantite than Boost. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Alright, maybe I can get the other one before it runs out. Had that happen with Rune before. It sucks really bad. Just trying to get the boost for the Wilderness Elite Diary. And I'd finally get the +5 Spicy Stew boost and then mine it for the full 60 seconds and have it not land, you know? It sucks. Need a mining level of 70 to mine this rock. Alright, try again. Feel like that didn't give me a full 60 seconds, but whatever. Thank you to Rock Slugs for this. Got it. Okay, didn't have to use a third stout on these two. Yeah, that's done. Now I'll just go do the ones in the Alcreed mine. I'll come back and clear this chunk up. I haven't started working on the scorpions yet. I guess I'll do that now. I'm going to go ahead and clear it. I also didn't pick up the runes when I was here before. Picked up the fire and the water. Scorpions are dead. Let's go ahead and boost for these two adamantites. Got the first one in pretty good time there. Hopefully we get the second one before I have to use another one of these, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Nope, need to use another one. I'm really glad I got all these. Probably the last time I need to use it for mining for some time, because I should hit 70 naturally next cycle. There it is. All right. Oh, it's too bad. Well, whatever. I got it really fast after rebuffing. Victory achieved. The Alcreed mine is done, which doesn't change anything, except now I can mine the Shooting Star that lands here, which is pretty huge. I'm going to go gear up and finish up Lumbered Swamp West. I do have to wait till next cycle to mine it, but that's why I wanted to knock it out now, even though it had to use some of my boosting items for it. I need to save at least one of these for boosting to make an adamant axe when we're 70 smithing. I gotta tell you, I'm going to be so happy to leave these frogs behind. 28 regular frogs and 14 big frogs with no drops. Awful. I might still kill the giant frogs because there's more big bones and not so bad. All right, all the frogs, giant frogs, big frogs, and the goblin are dead. I picked up all 17 swamp tar. I'm probably going to stop doing after this because I get plenty of swamp tar from the cave slimes. It's annoying to pick up. Just need to get these gloves. Victory achieved. Lumbered Swamp West, our third ever chunk, is complete, and it's going to be great because now we can finally do the Shooting Star that's here. Huge, absolutely huge. Apparently get a max hit increase when I get 74 strength, which should happen, so I'm going to wait to do Obor until I get that max hit increase, just in case it matters. Over here buying a spiny helmet, so I can kill the wall beasts. I think I'm going to go in there and do everything and fill up my inventory with all the stuff there is to do in the Lumber Swamp Caves, mark it complete, and then come... I guess I can't fish it to depletion until next cycle, so I've already tapped them each once anyway. Alright, here's going to be my first time fighting a wall beast. You guys have grabbed me too many times. Don't know if they have an interesting drop table. I guess
random events, dunce.
Another dunce? Are you kidding me? Let me do that before I finish this guy. Man, I'm lucky lately. This is going on Hunter now. We're going to see if we can lamp Hunter far enough to be able to barehand baby implings. Look at this string of dunces, man. Awesome. Yep, let's put this puppy on Hunter.
Warning, level up soon.
Gonna take a while. 19. Oh, that's so close. Bummer. Alright, so I'm looking at these drops. Mystic Hat Light is kind of cool. I guess some of these full helms can go in the Giant's Foundry. Lantern Lens means I don't have to craft one. Oh, the Bullseye Lance are unfinished. Just says rare, it doesn't give a drop rate. That would actually be really nice. That would be a big convenience upgrade. I already have these marked just so I can not walk into them, so I guess I'm going to mark the ground next to them when I kill one. Should be about to hit point 70 here. Hit point 70, there it is. Second one down. Tinderbox, not as exciting. Oh, this is weird. Wall beasts don't get tracked in the loot logger. At least not in this one. Did they get tracked? Today I learned, I guess the game has no way of knowing that I got the drop from the wall beast. On my honor system then to keep track of it. That's unfortunate. I like having everything in here, you know? Oh my goodness, I got the bullseye lantern. I still don't think I can use it. I think I need Remington to be able to put oil in there, unfortunately. But I guess that saves me some bars. I don't have to craft one myself. All right, so this is the last wall beast, and then we can mark Lumbered Swamp Cave complete as well. I just got the one interesting drop. I also got an Iron Med Helm and a Mithril Med Helm. But victory achieved. Lumbered Swamp Cave's done. I'm just double checking really quick on the chunk picker to make sure I'm not missing something obvious. I'm going to go ahead and say that Juna is a separate area that you zone into, so we're not going to count that. And also the little path to Dorgish Khan is also a separate area. So everything that I was able to do here I think is done, but I'm just going to make 100% sure. Ooh, victory not achieved. Just sheepishly change this back. You may have already guessed it. The Fire of Eternal Light that you get from making friends with my arm, I think has to count similar to a stash, right? We're going to say we need to finish stashes and do all quests. I think we have to include that, as annoying as it is. So almost done, but we're not going to build that probably ever. It's not a huge deal. It just means that I can't skip some of the more annoying things down here. I guess everything down here is generally worth killing, but I also won't be able to fish the frog spawn / cave eel spots to depletion, which is unfortunate because that would have been a nice little boost in fishing XP. Okay, I added it as a task. Fire of Eternal Light. Womp womp. Probably still worth lamping Slayer just for the chance at some more drops from these guys, the wall beasts. Got another adamant scimitar at Sour Hogs, which I can actually use. At some point, I'll accrue enough adamant gear that I can feed it into the Giant's Foundry, but it's probably just going to be gear. I don't think I'm ever going to spend full on it. I want to kill the evil chicken? I don't know what... I guess I should Google what it... the ranged attack? Is it a magic attack? I think it's a magic attack. Alright, 90 feathers. Alright. Okay. Oh my god, I just killed one of these black demons so fast. I got a bunch of I hit like 29 a couple times. These guys usually take me a significant amount of time to beat. Yeah, I killed these demons so fast. So fast. Awesome. Alright, time to test out how this thing works against the Dizar. I actually don't know what their melee defenses are. Let me look that up really quick. Probably fine to slash them, but they're neutral. Okay. Just hit strength 74. Cool. We'll go do Obor and Calphite Queen after this. Alright, I finished all of the Tizar here in Moral Wreck. No interesting drops. I want to try doing the Calphite Queen just with this Colossal Blade. I want to see if it's possible, right? Because I'd rather not do the 2-account thing because it's immensely stressful. And this, even if this is slower, I'd rather it be slow but guaranteed than fast but stressful. Especially since I only have to do it once every 30 hours. Okay, I'm here and I got my pull. I brought a bow just to pull the Guardians for, you know, the trick that you do to trap her. The thing I'm worried about is going to be phase 2. I'm going to pull up a stopwatch just so that I know how close I am. I get 20 minutes, so let's see how phase 1 goes. Well, I already hit her for a 39, so that's better than what I was previously doing. And then my second hit just now was for a 35. So yeah, I think as long as I get a few hits off on her in phase 2, I might not need to do the 2-account setup anymore, which is beautiful. All right, so phase 1 is already almost done. I don't know how long that took. I'll look at the VOD after this is done and let you know, but it's... I'm shredding her. Like, I'm still only hitting like once every 6 or 7 times, but whenever I hit, it's like for like a 30 or something, or even higher, so... Really interested to see how phase 2 goes. I am going to be able to swap to Slash off of Crush, because she doesn't have more resistance to Crush, but she is very resistant to melee in general in phase 2, so we'll see how this goes. Let me set my timer right now. So I'm about to be 3 minutes into the kill, and she's down to 63%, so yeah, we're doing it this way. I'm not doing that crazy limpward thing ever again. I'm glad I was able to do it. I got like 5 kills with it. I learned how to do it, and then as soon as I learned how to do it, I got a weapon that makes this a lot better. I'm just going to record the rest of this. I'll put it on fast forward. Actually look forward to when Limpert has to go back to Calphite Queen to get the dragon pickaxe, because he's got the Colossal Blade now, and he's gonna fuck her up, man. Like, this is wild how much better this is. His stats are way better than mine, too, and he has better gear and more accuracy stuff, so... Actually editing this the week that they added the dragon pickaxe to Calphite Queen, and he is fucking her up pretty well. Although Limpward is still doing the 2-account cheese, because I guess he's got really good ranged attack setup, so he can melt her pretty fast in Phase 2. I tried recommending to him on the stream that he try using the Colossal Blade on Phase 2, just for his own sanity, right? Because there's a really, really high chance that you screw up the 2-account setup. And if you account for all the time you lose whenever you make a mistake there, I think it might be comparable to do it with the Colossal Blade. It's still more flinching, which is annoying. But I don't know. You've heard me talk about attention calibration in RuneScape before, and I think that like making the choice that I'm just going to use the Colossal Blade the whole time is way less attention, way less stress than trying to make that 2-account thing happen for like 400 kills. No, thank you. Good God, I just got like 330 plus hits in a row. I'm 6 minutes in. This is extremely safe. Like, I can just do this from now on. I could do this at the beginning of the cycle. I don't need to stress out about the Calphite Queen anymore. I'm actually kind of sad that I can only kill her once per cycle, because I would farm the shit out of her right now. I guess this means that I'm basically guaranteed that if I ever get another Calphite Slayer task, I'm going to get every kill on her here. Because hopefully by the time I, get Lizards unlocked and get Slayer tasks back again and actually get a Calphite task, I'll be way stronger and I'll have better gear. But that would be a ton of Slayer XP and lots of chances for good drops. It would probably make whatever cycle that is take me like a month to do, but... I think this phase 2 is actually going to be faster than when I do it with the bow. I can start like actually accruing silver bolts instead of burning them, because I was previously using more than I was crafting per cycle. So nice knowing that next time I hit, she must die because of the max hit increase. Yeah, there it is. Excellent. That was great. That was 9 minutes for phase 2. Basically a terrible drop, but I honestly don't care. Like, that was so much better. I am so pleased with that. Turn all this shit off that I used for this. So I'm over here working on cows. I didn't have a chance to talk for a second, but I looked at the VOD, and it was 16 minutes to kill the Calphite Queen. My previous best time was 45 minutes, and I needed 2 accounts, and I needed to do everything exactly perfectly with 1 or 2 ticks worth of room for error, else I had to spend another 30 minutes setting it back up. So yes, everything is different now. I actually look forward to KQ kills, and may start doing them early in the cycle. I don't think there's actually terribly much you can drop that I care about anymore until they patch the Dragon Pickaxe in. I guess the Dragon Chain Body would be cool, but yeah, it's really, really good. I'm really interested to see how long this cycle takes me. Last cycle was 34 hours. Probably could have been closer to 31 hours because of some extra time I spent in the Giants Foundry. So we'll see what we're at when we wrap. We're 52. I keep saying this, but I really want to stop. I really want to stop picking up regular bones. I hate it. I'm probably going to keep doing it because it feels so bad to not pick them up. All right, this is the first cycle where I actually have enough talismans to be able to make lava runes at 2 different altars, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just say that that's fine. Since they use different resources, I have to use a fire talisman to make lava runes at the earth altar, and I have to use an earth talisman to make them at the fire altar. I can do both if I have the talismans for it. I think I've said that before, but this is the first cycle where I'm actually going to do it. Runecraft 42. I don't care about Runecraft levels really at all. I guess getting to the quest cape would be nice. Like 55. That's the only thing that's really on the docket. Okay, so I'm very near to the end of the cycle. I have Giant's Foundry, Construction, and Last Man Standing left. And earlier I said I didn't forget about the Giant's Key. I did forget about the Giant's Key, so I'm going to probably go do this after Giant's Foundry here. We'll see what we get. Just hit 69 smithing. Nice. Don't know if I have enough rep to get the new mold. I hope I do. Let's see. Yes, I just barely do. Wow. Whew, cutting that close. Let me look it up really quick and just make sure. I'm pretty sure this is best in slot in a few commissions. Oh wow, it's best in slot in 4 commissions. That's really good purchase. Cool. There's another mold at level 70 that's also best in slot in 4 commissions, and another one at level 71 that's also best in slot in 4 commissions. And then I don't get any more until 79. Okay. All right, I get to use that new mold here. 3621. That's insanely good. All right, Giant's Foundry's done. Let's go do Obor before I do construction training here. All right, I'm heading to Obor. I think this setup should probably be fine. I'm not going for any like combat achievements or anything with the skill. Looking at Obor's drop table, I think the only thing I really am excited about, I guess the rune full helm would be an upgrade, but that 50 to 99 law rune drop, boring as that sounds, or I guess the 50 noted bones would be pretty good. I guess also the kite shield is an upgrade, although maybe not really anymore since I'm probably going to be using this forever. Probably going to comment on this and maybe comment on it last episode, like edit it in, but I really kind of like that I've landed on this Ultra Greatsword for a Dark Souls themed series. I'm probably going to be using this weapon as my best in slot for over 1,000 hours. I'm not going to get a whip or a dragon scimitar, and I think this is even competitive with the dragon scimitar in a lot of situations, so. All right, let's do Obor. I'm just going to record the whole thing. We'll fast forward through it. Significantly less freak than I was with Briafita. Yeah, this went way easier. I've been watching Frosty Bard's Edgeville One Chunk Man series. He had some real trouble with Obor, mostly due to having to tick eat everything, which I don't have to do. Yeah, that was pretty painless. Fortunately, got a rune med helm, which is probably the most boring thing I could have gotten since I can already get that from so many other sources. Right, well, with that being done and being kind of underwhelming and not as exciting as the Briafita kill, let's go ahead and do construction training and then last man standing, and then we'll be done. Oh, fumbled the recording there. Hopefully I'll fix that in editing. 54 construction. Probably not going to get another level next episode. Yeah, it's going to be a couple more episodes before we get another one. There's nothing else to make with construction because everything requires teak. I think 59 is the next thing that requires something other than teak. All right, we're very close to the end. I'm 28 hours into the cycle. I have to do last man standing is the last thing, so hopefully it's fast. I'm getting better at kind of cheesing LMS, like spotting if someone's AFK or not. If they don't immediately start eating, there's a good chance that they're just on auto retaliate. I still feel like there's a certain number of people who are just loading accounts in here to like sandbag on purpose to give them a chance of getting points if they happen to get matched with them. I've won a couple fights one-on-one. Usually it's just been because of luck. I also got advice from Troc to like just only ever do ranged and I guess vengeance and stick to getting my prayers right, and that's actually been pretty good a lot of the time. Pulled off second place. Really feels worth it to just get a kill and hide. And I guess you could also like do a bunch of effort if you wanted to, but this person's probably, oh, never mind, now they're eating. Person back there is AFK, but I can't get to him. All right, did one game for 4 points, one game for 3 points, and a bunch of losses in between those two. So we're done. That's it. Let's go sum up the chunk. All right, we are at the end of the cycle. Let's do our summary here. This goal tracker is starting to get way too unwieldy. I'm actually also tracking stuff in a spreadsheet. It makes it easier for me to do on a different monitor. So I might move to a different solution to show you which tasks I did. I think there's another plugin called Goal Tracker that might be easier to kind of visually represent or at least categorize similar tasks. But in any case, let's go ahead and scroll for now. That's what we've been doing. Isn't going to be so much of a slow scroll anymore as it is a, if you really want to read it, you should pause the video, scroll. That's getting pretty, it's getting pretty long. Time played and the live split timer, we ended up at 28:38 compared to 34 last cycle, so a lot of that is the Colossal Blade. Part of it is not having as much Giant's Foundry to do, but the lion's share of it really is the Colossal Blade just being an absolutely amazing weapon. It's super flavorful, like some of the most famous weapons in the Souls series are ultra great swords, and it's just, it rules. I think that there are going to be very few restricted accounts out there for which this thing is as good as it is for me. And I'm probably going to have something replace it eventually, like I think a Dragon Spear drop might compete, at least on DPS. But it's still going to be amazing. It will always be perfect for Calphite Queen. It's like the ideal weapon for that, and for like killing the Calphite Guardians and that sort of a thing. So huge time save. We'll see if we can stay sub 30. That would certainly be nice. All right, here's the XP gain here. Strength 135k per cycle. Now that's because I've really moved away from using range or magic for almost anything, as you can see further down the list there. Lots of mining XP, got some really good high tier stars this cycle. No real competition, got them for the full period. Smithing isn't as good as last cycle, but still quite high. Fishing and thieving are around what they're probably going to be for some time. Good XP numbers here, I think. Level ups that we're looking forward to, 36. I was hoping to get this episode, but we got unlucky on the Draenor Agility course. 36 doesn't unlock anything, but it does make our run energy restore a little bit better. 70 smithing will let us boost to 71 smithing to make adamant axe. And maybe if I'm thinking about it, I might try to do some Giant's Foundry early next cycle before I start woodcutting, because it would probably make things easier to have the Addy axe, but I'll probably forget because I have a lot of muscle memory for just woodcutting first now. 70 mining is still exciting, but we've already kind of gotten the benefit of that by completing Lumbered Swamp West.
Random event spawned.
Oh, can I actually get this guy's thing? I don't think this despawns him, right? Yeah, that's the dream. Hell yeah, extra agility potion. I don't know if that's going to come up for a long time, but it's one that I'd like to have on me. Right, mining. Because I boosted to 70, I already have the big, huge bonus of that, in that I've completed 2 chunks that I can now mine the shooting star in. So there's not going to be a total of 5 shooting stars, a potential of 10 hours of AFK, which is nuts for me. So I can only hope. 60 thieving for the summer garden would be cool. I think it's 17 hunter to be able to catch baby implings in Puro, which I can get to. And just going to keep plugging away at strength, I guess. I got to show you the delta here. This is the comparison to last cycle. Hold on. Right, there's the delta displayed there. Strength is up a bit because you can see that the minuses are coming from magic and ranged. Almost exactly, actually. And mining's actually got a pretty big boost. We did a lot better on shooting stars this time. I keep getting them when they're like 30 minutes in, or somebody else shows up partway through, or I settle for a low tier star, but it can make a pretty big difference if you're doing a T6 star to start with. The rest of those numbers all look pretty solid, though, and pretty standard for what we've been seeing. I don't think anything pretty crazy to talk about. I guess woodcutting is down a bit, simply because of RNG on the depletable trees. We've been kind of down. We haven't been getting the, 8 or so times the number of expected logs, but not in a hugely impactful way. Fishing's down because I beat Temporos on the first try, and I should be able to do that from now on. And smithing's down because I don't have the insane influx of Giant's Foundry materials that I had last cycle. Alright, let's do the loot logger. I'm going to try to do this a little bit faster, so if you really want to see something, I encourage you to pause. Just a couple mistakes. I just keep making mistakes with pickpocketing, and I carry them forward, and I fix those, and I make mistakes with something else, but not a huge deal. It's like one pickpocket here and there every cycle. Flies I forgot to show you before going to Last Man Standing. Ignore Sharks and Karambwans and Ceradoman Brews and Super Restores. Used 8 Law Runes, so not too bad. And then it's been rad with random events. We got like 3 dunces, several beekeepers, a genie. Yeah, it's been looking pretty good. Let's review the bank. Lots of new items this cycle. It's a broken arrow, technically. A white apron, old boot. Rune chain body is a big upgrade over the mithril plate body. Rune sword is a great upgrade over the Addy Sim. It's great for like goblins and cows and chickens and that kind of a thing where you don't want to have a slow weapon. I haven't had a chance to use the green D-hide yet, but I imagine that's going to be a pretty big deal for ranged accuracy. I've got a bunch of these Rag and Bone Man 2 bones that are probably going to start clogging up my bank, but c'est la vie. I already used the giant key. My first ever adamantite ore, spiny helmet, bullseye lantern, mithril med helm, also from wall beasts. Vile ashes, I didn't bank these last time, but these are just from the lesser demons that I can actually reach in the Karamja volcano. An adamant dagger. I guess these are just water skins because whenever I withdraw all of them, it removes their placeholder. Okay, we're back to the bank here. Scroll through the bank. And finally, let's look at comparing here. Pretty good stuff. Okay, let's get to the chunk picker. Okie dokie, folks. Here we are in the chunk picker. Let's go over the changes. We unlock Port Sarim, which means we can get to Intrana, and I really want Intrana. For lots and lots of reasons. We got to get that Draman staff. That would be really, really helpful. It just unlocks a lot of content if we can get there. I also would be pretty happy about Rend or Piscarilius is kind of a lame chunk. I'm going to put a thumbs down for it, but honestly, I'd be happy to get into Karen because there's lots of cool stuff over there. Land's End is more interesting. We won't quite be able to complete it because it does have a big net harpoon spot that we still can't fish. And as I mentioned earlier, this chunk I'm not going to count as rollable because we would only be able to get to this little sliver in the corner here, and we can't walk diagonally there, or that produces a bunch of weird questions about the chunk roller in general. So this will only become rollable when we either get this one, this one, this one, or I guess technically this one. Yeah, I really want Intrana, really want Rimington, really want Falador, really want the Edgeville Monastery. A lot of things I want right now. There's still some bad ones, but looks like more good than bad. Yeah, so without further ado, let's do this. Pick chunk. Give me something good, game. I think I'm due for a bad one because I've gotten so many good ones now. Oh my god. That is... I can't believe I put this as a silver star. This is so good. This is so good. This is insanely good. I think I can turn in all my Stardust now, which is going to be great. That ring is actually really powerful for this account because it gets us extra resources. It kind of sucks for most accounts, but it's actually pretty good for Bonfire Man. Like the added effect of giving you an extra ore, more so than the invisible boost. But also we have so much Stardust, I'm going to be able to buy so many gem packs, which means we can now get Dragon Stones, which means we can now make a Ring of Wealth, which I'm just going to have equipped all the time, I think. Also, we can get down into the Motherlode Mine, the Dwarven Mine. I think this means we can pop out the other side of Asgarnian Road without needing to unlock the Monastery, which I think means that we might be able to complete Asgarnian Mine, because there aren't actually any quests that start there. Yeah. But I should be able to pop up over on this side and kill the dwarves and stuff on that end, and that will reduce some of the trees we have to chop. God, that was lucky. Holy shit. No quest start here. Dash. I'm trying to see if I'm able to finish the chunk. The surface chunk, anyway. I think so. Can't quite get to Amy. It'd be nice to be able to start the Mahogany Homes contracts, but that'll have to be in the next one. The agility course entirely here? Oh man, it might be. I need to research that. I don't know if it dips into the neighboring chunk at any point. I think it might entirely be here. Agility level 50. It'll be a while until I hit that. I don't think it means I want to start lamping agility again. If this does turn out to be a completable chunk, once I'm able to do that agility course, then that's potentially a ton of XP if I can run it repeatedly until I get Marks of Grace. Yeah, this rules. No complaints. Excellent chunk. We're gonna do Motherlode Mine. We're gonna scope out the Dwarven Mine. We're gonna get a rune pickaxe. Oh, this is so good. I'm super pumped. Sick. And the Mining Guild and Keldagrim. I don't know if I can get to Keldagrim from in there, but I'll certainly give it a shot. I haven't shown you the chunk roll history in a while, so let's do that. I think there may have been one of these. Was it West Soul Isle? One of these that needed to be a reroll because I couldn't actually reach it like I thought I could. You see there's no hanky-panky funny business here. This records my rolls, including mistaken rolls, you know, like the Edgewell Monastery down here. So yeah, I am happier than I've ever been. Next episode is going to be amazing. This episode, I got the time to complete down by like 5.5 hours. Next episode, it's going to go up by 10 hours because there's so much to do in this chunk. Thanks everybody for watching. I really look forward to seeing you next episode. Bye.